Lord Zedd, one of the most powerful Power Rangers villains of all time. The history of this villain goes back thousands of years when he was Zofran, the ancient guardian of Elter and the mentor of Zardes and Zordon. He proclaimed himself Emperor of Evil and enslaved Goldar and Rita for his purposes of conquest in the universe. At that time, Lord Zedd tried to take the Zeo crystal to use them in his evil plans, but the crystal had a protection against the forces of evil, and this caused all his skin to burn. This is why Lord Zedd has no skin and his body shows the inside of his body, such as the fiber of his muscles and his exposed brain. He also wears a crown embedded in his body with a long tip that has a Z at the end. He carries a staff with the Z at the tip, which helps him channel all his power. His face is covered by a red visor and a kind of metallic mask in his mouth. After so many years of conquering worlds, Lord Zedd comes across Earth. He didn't think it was important enough to be worth his attention, so he sends Rita and Goldar to conquer it. After so many failures by Rita, Lord Zedd arrives on Earth and punishes Rita by shrinking her and locking her in a space junk capsule and throws her into the depths of space. Lord Zedd began to fight the Power Rangers and managed to destroy the Zords, but Zordon and the Power Rangers managed to transform the remains into the Thunder Zords. These Zords were more powerful than the previous Zords, so they were able to start a good fight against Lord Zedd. In a desperate attempt, Lord Zedd tries to make Kimberly the Pink Power Ranger his wife, and to convert her he sent Goldar to brainwash her. Kimberly started to fall for Goldar's words, but in the end, it was just a deception Kimberly did to give the Power Rangers more time to rescue her, and since then Lord Zedd feels more hatred for the Pink Power Ranger. One day, Lord Zedd tried to create a group of evil Rangers, but Tommy the Green Ranger stopped him to save those humans that Zedd was controlling. Then, as revenge, Lord Zedd vowed to destroy the Green Ranger, and in this he succeeded. Then he wanted to cast a spell on him and make him his heir to the throne, but Zordon got there first and turned Tommy into the White Ranger. Due to the strong battles that Lord Zedd had with the Power Rangers, he had to dig up a powerful war machine called Serpentera, which could easily crush the Rangers' Zords, but had the disadvantage that it consumed a lot of their power and the machine could only battle for short periods of time. Given this, Lord Zedd had to take his centennial recharge moment, and it is at this moment that Rita manages to escape from the capsule and returns to the moon, where she puts a love potion in Lord Zedd's sleep machine. As soon as Zedd wakes up, he quickly falls in love with Rita. However, the potion did not work as Rita had hoped, because Lord Zedd would not allow himself to be manipulated. Now with Lord Zedd and Rita fighting together against the Power Rangers, the fights became more difficult for the Rangers. They even managed to create an evil Tommy and even sent the Rangers to the past. Then, Rita's father arrived to the moon, and between the three of them they managed to defeat the Power Rangers, destroying their command center in a failed attempt to obtain the Zeo crystal, although this victory would not last long, because then came the Empire of the Machines. After several battles against the Machine Empire and some more against the Power Rangers, Lord Zedd and Rita gave up and disappeared for a while. Then in the final battle, where Dark Spectre has a great meeting of evil, Lord Zedd and Rita appear to help in the battle and are sent to defeat the Gold Ranger. At the moment they catch him, Zordon's sacrifice happens and both are transformed to human beings, and they still kept their love. A love that led them to have a son named Trax, who was born before these events and was upset that his parents were lost in kindness. After many years in the saga of Dino Fury, Lord Zedd is resurrected. Although the last time he was seen was in his human form, it is said that they revived his evil side before the wedding with Rita, an eviler and darker Lord Zedd with a more destructive power. In these new battles against the Power Rangers, he almost managed to defeat them, but failed, so he teleported away swearing that someday he will return. After several attempts to destroy the Dino Fury Rangers, Lord Zedd was locked in a glass container by the Morphin Masters, and we all thought that this was going to be the end of this powerful villain. Unfortunately, Lord Zedd escaped and a great epic battle began in which the Morphin Masters had to fight together with the Dino Fury Rangers. Because Zaido had passed away, the Morphin Masters had to revive him for a limited time so that he could help them in the battle. This was the end of the Dino Fury season, and it was also the beginning of the Cosmic Fury season, in which we would later see Lord Zedd in one of his best moments as a villain. Lord Zedd had made an alliance with another villain who owned a giant company, and with their large machines they could extract energy from planets to be able to create large armies. Lord Zedd wanted to take advantage of all that power to trap the Morphin Master and use all the energy for him to have a transformation. One of Lord Zedd's allies had created a machine that could trap anyone, so he used this technology to enclose the Morphin Masters in a tube and later be able to use all that combined energy. In order to destroy the Dino Fury Rangers, what he did was to transform the Blue Ranger back into a villain, since Lord Zedd had previously bewitched him, and this had worked very well in his evil plans. Lord Zedd took it upon himself to destroy the statues that connected the Rangers to the power and also almost destroyed the command center. Throughout this season of Cosmic Fury, Lord Zedd remained the leader, and we didn't see him fight as many times as he did in Dino Fury. He even managed to build a new castle on the planet Elter and also managed to lock up almost all the Power Rangers on Earth. This time Lord Zedd was conquering everything, and then he built a throne that managed to channel the power of the Morphin Masters. In this way Lord Zedd transformed into Master Zedd, and he was so powerful that he wanted Dark Spectre to have seen him. He was so powerful that he destroyed the new Cosmic Fury Zords as if they were toys, and the Rangers were no longer a match for him. We could see that Master Zedd's body was now different, and we could tell that he was very powerful physically. Despite all this power, the other villain he had made an alliance with had been deceiving him all this time and had been setting him up from the beginning. She wanted Lord Zedd to use the power of the Morphin Masters and then trapped him with the same machine that he had trapped the Morphin Masters before. After the Rangers defeated this villainess, Zaido, now turned into a Morphin Master, took the Rangers inside the crystal tube in which Master Zedd was locked to try to convince him to release the Morphin Master's power. After this, Zaido teleported Lord Zedd to a planet where people's fears torment them, and there, we could see that Lord Zedd's worst nightmare was having to be Rita's servant. When we started this channel, we talked about the history of the most famous villain of Power Rangers, and I am obviously referring to Rita Repulsa. She has a very complex history, since we have part of her life in the TV series that we have seen since the beginning of the franchise, but now with her reappearance in the special episode, her story is longer. We also have a bit of her story in the comics, but we are not going to talk about everything that appears in the comics since those are different stories. In this video, we want to try to talk about the most basic backstory of Rita Repulsa so you can understand a little bit about this character, and if you are one of those who never saw Mighty Morphin, then here you can get to know who this witch is. Let's start by giving a brief description of her: an evil sorceress, daughter of a feared conqueror of worlds named Master Vil. This villain is part of the Dark Spectre organization, basically an evil emperor who only wanted his daughter to be a vessel for his boss. Rita's mother is Lady Fienna, who was a very powerful sorceress who was Zordon's ally and fell in love with Rita's father before he was corrupted by Dark Spectre. They were both studying the Morphin Grid and had been able to see the future of their unborn daughter at the time. Lady Fienna saw Rita become the mystical mother, but her husband only saw Rita become a witch and himself become Master Vil. That is how Dark Spectre corrupted him and now became Master Vil for the purpose of separating Rita to be the vessel. Rita's mother realized this, so she ran away when she was pregnant, and Master Vil had been looking for her for a long time. Finally, when Rita was 6 years old, her father found her and sent his warriors to bring his daughter back. The Phantom Ranger helped Rita and her mother escape until they reached a place filled with morphin grid energy. The purpose of traveling to this place was to heal the Phantom Ranger's wounds, but Rita's mother had the idea to fill her daughter with grid energy so that she could no longer be Dark Spectre's vessel. In the process, the machine exploded, and Rita's mother died. When Master Vil arrived to look for Rita, he realized that she was already full of grid energy and was useless to Dark Spectre. Despite this, he decided to take Rita to try to turn her into the witch he had seen before she was born. Rita grew up learning to be an evil witch and made herself a scepter to channel all her evil power. This was because she wanted to be more dangerous and be able to do what her father did, conquer worlds. She met Lord Zedd and began to work for him, conquering the galaxy while gaining fame for her destruction of worlds. Rita was such a powerful villain that she began to create an army to aid her in her conquests until she met Zordon of Elter. She started a war against Zordon that would last more than 2,000 years, in which they had legendary battles where both lost part of their armies. In between all that war, Lord Zedd sends Rita to conquer the Earth, and she establishes her evil headquarters on the moon, and Zordon established his on Earth to fight against Rita. In that period, Zordon finds 5 coins of power and Rita found an additional coin. The 6th coin, which would give life to the Green Ranger who would help her in the battle to destroy the Power Rangers that Zordon would create with those 5 coins. Before the Green Ranger and Zordon created the Power Rangers, Rita and Zordon were still at war. Rita started to lose the battle, so she decides to form a plan and tells Zordon that she wants to make a peace pact, but her real plan was to get Zordon to let his guard down and trap him in a time warp. Despite this, Zordon was prepared and locked her in a space junk capsule, which he then sent to wander in space for eternity. After 10,000 years, some astronauts came across the capsule and removed the seal by mistake, setting the evil villain free. She quickly went to the moon to her headquarters, which was abandoned. She managed to gather several of her servants who would help her again to conquer the Earth, and that is when she sent Goldar to destroy the Earth. Then she was surprised to find that Zordon had created the Power Rangers, who defeated Goldar and all the monsters that Rita sent. After so many defeats, Rita remembered that she still had the 6th power coin, and with it she created the Green Ranger, an evil ranger destined to destroy the Power Rangers. After many battles, Jason, the Red Ranger, managed to break Rita's spell on the Green Ranger and then made him part of the team. In the comics, in the Green Ranger saga, we could see that after this Tommy had a connection with Rita, until he was able to destroy that connection. After this, Lord Zedd was so disgusted with Rita's inability to conquer Earth that he locked her back in another garbage capsule and started the war against Zordon himself. In less than a year, Rita managed to escape and return to the moon with the help of Finster, who restored her to her normal size. He also helped her create a love potion to conquer Lord Zedd and convince him to marry her so they could both fight against Zordon. At first it was a sham, and she only did it to overthrow Lord Zedd, but in time she would abandon this idea and truly love him. After many defeats, Rita's father arrived on the moon to help her defeat the Power Rangers. At that moment, Rita and Lord Zedd took the opportunity to bomb Zordon's command center and steal the Zeo crystal. Rita sent her brother Rita Repulsa along with Goldar on this mission. They managed to plant the bomb, but lost the Zeo crystal. Zordon, Alpha, and the Power Rangers managed to survive in a fortified power chamber beneath the earth and eventually found the Zeo crystals in the rubble. Sometime later, Rita and Lord Zedd were overthrown by the Machine Empire and decided never to face the Power Rangers again. Despite this, Rita and Lord Zedd teamed up with Dark Spectre to deal a final blow to the forces of good throughout the galaxy. With this, Rita regained confidence that the Power Rangers could be defeated, so between her and Lord Zedd they worked together to catch the Gold Ranger. At that moment, the Dark Spectre army was winning the battle throughout the universe, and this is why Zordon sacrificed himself so that his energy would finish with all the villains. This same energy purified Rita and Lord Zedd, who somehow became human, but their energy was left wandering through space. After several years as a human, Rita regained her powers, but this time she used them for good and was called the Mystical Mother, appearing in Power Rangers Mystical Force. However, her evil energy was still wandering through space, and when Billy tried to bring Zordon back, Rita's energy entered through the broken glass of the tube. This energy took over Alpha 8's body and she managed to transform into Robo Rita, the same villain we had known, but now she had a robotic body. Finally, the Power Rangers managed to destroy her, but we do not know if this energy was destroyed and returned to wander through space. Goldar's story goes back thousands of years when he began serving Lord Zedd faithfully. There is no record of where he comes from or how long he has served Lord Zedd, but his appearance in Power Rangers begins when Lord Zedd sends Rita to Earth and Goldar with her. When the war between Rita and Zedd broke out, the first one to go to Earth to destroy the Power Rangers was Goldar. At the time, the powerful villain was so dangerous that he could defeat all 5 Power Rangers by himself, but when he transformed into a giant, he was defeated by the Megazord. Goldar also had a Zord of his own known as Cyclopsis, an ancient war machine, but this Zord was defeated by the Rangers' Ultrazord after a long battle. Although, at the beginning of the series, Goldar was a very powerful and dangerous being, he gradually lost power and no longer posed a great threat to the Power Rangers. His physique was similar to a bat with a golden armor, red eyes, and wings that appeared and disappeared throughout the series without any explanation. In his personality, he was known for telling Rita what to do, although Rita all the time insulted him. This is why he ended up hating Rita. When Lord Zedd came down to the moon, Goldar quickly abandoned Rita for his former master and Lord Zedd gave him back his wings. When Rita returns to the moon and gives a love potion to Lord Zedd, Goldar angrily had Finster make another potion to break Rita's spell, but by that time Lord Zedd was really in love with Rita and it was not because of the love potion. This shows the great loyalty Goldar had for Lord Zedd and the great contempt he still had for Rita. After many battles and defeats with the Power Rangers, Goldar teamed up with Rita's brother, Rita Repulsa, to plant a bomb in the Power Rangers command center. They also wanted to steal the Zeo crystals, but they lost them along the way. Then the bomb exploded and somehow Goldar and Rita lost their memories. Because of this, they ended up wandering around Angel Grove and met Bulk and Skull and became their servants since they didn't remember anything and didn't know how powerful they were. Finally, Rita and Lord Zedd find them and give them back their memory to help them defeat the Empire of the Machines. In Power Rangers in Space, in the final invasion, Goldar helps Rita and Lord Zedd to stop the Gold Ranger, Then occurs the sacrifice of Zordon and the wave that destroyed all the evil beings and managed to transform other beings such as Rita, Lord Zedd, and Divatox. At that time, it was not known if Goldar had died or had been transformed. It was not until the era of Power Rangers Beast Morphers that it was known that Goldar had died, because in this season they managed to revive Goldar. By reviving him, he changes his appearance a bit and returns even more powerful than before. He swears loyalty to Evox for reviving him and destroys Sledge for having mocked his loyalty to Evox. Finally, Goldar, now called Goldar Maximus, leads the attack against the legendary Dino Rangers led by Jason, who ends up destroying the villain by combining their weapons and creating the Ultra Blaster, ending Goldar for good.